Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about literal equations. And y'all have the notes. You all have the notes. And let me give you a quick definition for literal equations. Literal equations are equations with multiple, what does the word multiple mean?
A lot.
Yep, variables. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, a lot of people freak out about this because they think, heck, I can't even solve for one variable. How am I going to deal with multiple variables? But I promise we'll make it as easy as possible. So let's talk about the first problem. It says 2x minus 5 equals 13. What is the only variable I have in that problem? 2x. So I'm going to put my frame around 2x. I have nailed it to the wall. I cannot move it. What is on the same side of the equal sign, but not in the frame? Negative 5. Oops. What is the opposite of a negative 5? Positive 5. So I will add 5 to both sides. Oh my goodness. I will add 5 to both sides. And the first drop of the day. And I am left with 2x equals what? 18. Again, my lucky number. Now my last step is to do what?
Divide.
By
2x.
by
2.
2. Just by 2. And x equals what?
9.
Perfect. Now, that seems like all of the problems we've been doing up till now, so that's not a big deal. But now we're going to move into the next step with multiple variables. So we have ax minus b equals c. Now they have to tell us what we're solving for. And if you look above, it says solve each of the equations for x, which means I need to get x all by itself on one side and all the other stuff on the other side. So I am going to put a frame around the term that has x in it. That has been nailed to the wall. What is on the same side of the equal sign with the frame, but not in the frame?
Negative b.
Negative b, very good. Haley, what is the opposite of a negative b, hon? Right, so I'm gonna add b to both sides. Now that seems weird because c and b are not like terms, but that's okay. I'm gonna bring down what was in my frame because now that is the only term isolated on one side. And because c and b are not alike, I am simply going to say that it equals c plus b. Questions on that so far?
Yes.
What?
It's confusing.
Okay, what part is confusing?
All of
Now
it.
you're doing math with the alphabet.
Okay. How- All right, they've asked me to get x all by itself. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have any other x's?
No.
No. So because I only have one term, which is this, with an x in it, I'm putting a frame around that term. I need to get that all by itself.
Wait, so is the next step, we're just gonna add, like, divide a?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I isolated this. And just like other problems, like we did one, 2x minus 6 equals 4. How many terms do I have with an x in it?
1.
1. So I had framed this. What do I get rid of?
Number 6.
Negative 6 by doing what, Eli?
Adding.
So adding 6 to both sides. And that leaves me with 2x equals 10, which is where I am right now. Don't let the letters freak you out. You are doing the same steps. You're looking at me funny. You okay? Okay. Did that help at all, Rosalie?
A little.
Okay. All right, so here we are. We've isolated that. We brought it down because it's all by itself on one side. Now I need x all by itself. I'm going to put a frame around just the x. And right now the x is being what by what?
Multiplied by a.
Multiplied by a. What is the opposite, Kelly, of multiplying by a? dividing by A. I divide this by A, and I divide all of this by A. Cancels out. X equals, my mask is too big today, C plus B over A. We have now gotten X all by itself. How exciting is that? Can I hear a woohoo? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Okay, I'm the only one participating in that woohoo.
I gave you an E.
Oh, you gave me an E? All right.
Yeah.
At least I got something. Can I move on to the next problem?
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on, let me help you. Let me help you with filling out the next lines of verbiage. So we have quick write. Identify the similarities and differences between the two equations. What I'd like you to write next to the first bullet point is this. You're going to write both use opposite operations to isolate. So this is just saying this is no different than anything else we've done. This goes under the first bullet point under quick write. The second bullet point should have the literal equation doesn't simplify nicely, because you're not getting a pretty number as an answer, due to multiple variables. So it looks funny because there are so many letters on the other side, but that's okay. We're still doing the same type of work as we did here. And for those of you who are virtual, I'd love to take your questions. I can't, but you can always come to my office hours and ask the questions. All right, let's try another one. This says, and these are questions you will see on the I-STEP, so really you want to pay attention. LW. Now they tell us what to solve for. What are they asking us to solve for in this problem? W. So how many terms do I have on the right side of the equal sign? One. So I only have one term. They're asking me to solve for W. So I am going to put a frame just around W. That is nailed to the wall. I cannot move it. W is being what by what?
Multiplied by L.
Perfect, multiplied by L. What's the opposite, Eli, of multiplying by L?
Dividing by L.
Dividing by L. Divide both sides. That leaves me with A divided by L equals W. And I'm done. It's a little bit of fun. Rosalie? Yep. Stretching? Somebody's at the door.
Nope, pointing at the time.
Oh, the time. Okay. I'm going to do one more problem and then, thank you, honey.
It's the hardest pointing.
Yep, you're right. All right, one more problem just to have a little extra fun with everybody. I'm going to do number 2, which says A equals BH. And these are problems for formulas that you will use. So area equals base times height. So all we're doing is we are manipulating the sentence or the equation. So when we are solving for a specific part of the area of a rectangular square, we know how to plug in what we need and solve for what we don't know. So they're asking me to solve for what? Perfect. How many terms do I have on the right side of the equal sign that contain H? 1. So if I only have one term, I need to just frame my H. That is nailed to the wall because that's what they want all by itself. Right now, my H is being what by what, Rosalie?
Multiplied by B.
Multiplied by B. What's the opposite of multiplying by B?
Divided.
Divide by B. It's okay that they're letters. The process is the same.
I was going to say.
So A divided by B equals h. And I've done it. And I hope everybody at home has done it too.